Hello YouTubers, this is 777 Die Hard Forever, coming at you with another highly anticipated and highly recommended model as I continue to play catch up. Today, I'll be doing a review on the Gemini Jets Qantas Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft and their special commemorative 100th anniversary livery scheme in a 1/200 scale model. I purchased the model from Easy Toys and their website address is www.easytoys.com. But first, before I go into details about this particular special commemorative aircraft model, allow me to share some information about the history of Qantas and how they came about and still operating strongly after over 100 plus years in aviation, if you would please. Qantas is an Australian-based airline that was founded on November 16, 1920 in Winton, Queensland, and commenced operations 4 months later in March 1921, and the airline's first aircraft was the Avro 504K. Qantas is currently the third oldest operating airline in the world based on foundation date after KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, and Aviation respectively, and still continues to operate under the same name today as it was when the airline was first formed on November 16, 1920, as Qantas celebrated its centennial anniversary on November 16, 2020. The Qantas name comes from Qantas, an acronym for its original name, which literally stands for Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services. Qantas also has another nickname that the airline actually calls itself, the Flying Kangaroo. Qantas is the national flag carrier airline for the country of Australia and the country's largest operating airline based on fleet size, international flights, and international destinations served. Whereas the headquarters of Qantas is located at the Qantas Centre, which is located in the city of Botany Bay, Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, while the airline's main hub and base of operations is located on the grounds of Sydney Kingsford Smith Airport, which is located approximately 5 miles south of the city centre in the suburb of Mascot in Sydney, Australia. The airline also has operational hubs that's located at Brisbane Airport, located in Brisbane, Australia, and Melbourne Airport, located in Tullamarine, Melbourne, Australia. The airline's secondary hubs are located at Adelaide Airport, located in Adelaide, South Australia, and Perth Airport, located in Perth, Western Australia. While the airline's focus city hubs are located at Cairns International Airport, located in Cairns, Queensland, Australia, Darwin International Airport, located in Darwin, Northern Territory, Australia, and Singapore Changi Airport, located in Singapore. Qantas currently flies to 20 domestic destinations and 27 international destinations in 14 countries across 6 inhabited continents, as Qantas is one of 10 airlines to own this actual distinction of permanently flying to all 6 inhabited continents, along with Air Canada, Air China, British Airways, Delta Airlines, Korean Air, Qatar Airways, South African Airways, and United Airlines respectively, with an operating fleet of 126 aircraft, which includes 11 Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliners, including this one you're looking at here. And in addition to the 126 aircraft that currently operates in the Qantas fleet, the airline also has unfulfilled orders for an additional 3 more Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliners, and those aircraft, as we speak, are currently on back order and are awaiting delivery. As of December 2021, or at the time of this video review posting, Qantas is one of 59 airlines in the world of aviation that currently operates as a certified 4-star airline carrier, according to the international airline review firm Skytrax magazine. Alright everyone, let's take a look at this particular box. The front of the box you're looking at here, and what you're looking at is the engraved blue and gold Gemini 200 decal. You see the made for collectors, by collectors. You see the computer generated picture of the aircraft type, the Qantas logo, as well as the 100 years decal you see there, as well as the 1/200 scale die-cast model aircraft, as well as the item number information you see at the front of the box. Alright, now you're looking at the back of the box, and what you see is the engraved blue and gold Gemini 200 decal, and then you see some more information. Then you see the Boeing official license product decal, you see the Qantas official license product decal, the Qantas title, and then there's Gemini Jet social media page on the right side of the box. You can pause and read all this information if you like. In the meantime, I'm going to keep this moving, alright? Alright, now you're looking at the top of the box, and what you see is the engraved blue and gold Gemini 200 decal, the adult warning information, as well as the item number information you see at the top of the box. Now you're looking at the bottom of the box, and what you see is the engraved blue and gold Gemini 200 decal, as well as the 1/200 scale diecast model, and some more information you see at the bottom of the box. Alright, now you're looking at the left side of the box. You see all the little information there, the Gemini 200 decal, the 1/200 scale diecast model, the item number, the computer generated picture of the aircraft, as well as the aircraft type. Now you're looking at the right side of the box. Actually, the actual same information on the left side of the box I showed you earlier on. Alright, now you're looking at the front of the box, and looking at the front of the box again because I got the box laid down because there's a flaps of some information on the other side. Before I let you see the information, I'm going to flip this over and let you see the model inside. Check that out. There, right there. That's the actual model. I'm going to pull that out in a second. But in the meantime, there's some information on the other side of the flap you need to check out. Very informative. Alright, this is what's on the other side of the flap. You can see all that information. Then I'm going to scroll this down real slowly. And then you see the rest of the aircraft information you see there. You can pause and read that if you like. In the meantime, I'm going to keep this moving, alright? Okay, finally took the packaging out of the box, and this is what it looks like. The clear part plastic, and the lower part is the foam. So I'm gonna take this off and let you see what's inside the model. As you can see there, that's the actual model, the model stand, as well as the gear replacement doors you see inside that little box there. Please stay tuned as I go into detail for the sole purpose of those gear replacement doors for this particular model. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and take all this out, and we're gonna get on with the model. All right. Alright, with all that information out of the way about the history of Qantas and how they came out and still operate strong at the 100+ year, which is a accomplishment. Only a few airlines have done it, you know, like KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, and Aviation. Plus all the details here at the front of the box, as well as information at the back of the box, plus the packaging, plus the information on the other side of the flap. So with no further ado, everyone, here is the model out of the packaging box. Let's check it out. Alright, there it is, everyone. The Gemini Jets Qantas Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft in their special commemorative 100th anniversary livery scheme in a 1/200 scale model. Alright, allow me to share some information first about the Qantas Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft, how it became part of their fleet, which has definitely become a game changer for Qantas as we speak. It actually began back on December 13, 2005, and that's when Qantas originally had placed an order for 115 Boeing 787s, in which 35 of those were the Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner variant, with 20 options, plus purchase rights for an additional 50 more of the aircraft variant for the sole purpose of renewing and expanding its long-haul fleet. However, on August 22, 2012, Qantas previously announced that it had canceled its 35 Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft order for the sole purpose to conserve capital due to the economic losses that was mounting at the airline during that particular year. Then fast forward 3 years later, and that's when Qantas actually became the 25th carrier overall in the world of aviation that acquired this prestigious state-of-the-art aircraft, as Qantas took delivery of its first of 14 Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliners that the Sydney-based carrier had placed orders for back on August 20, 2015, as the very first Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft, which bear the registration ship number Victor Hotels Zulu November Alpha, was officially delivered on October 11, 2017 at a special delivery ceremony that was held at Boeing's 787 Delivery Center facility, which is located in Everett, Washington. Then made its actual debut 2 weeks later on October 27, 2017 with its very first inaugural validation flight when it flew from Sydney to Melbourne, then was followed with another pair of validation flights when it flew from Melbourne to Sydney and Perth respectively from November 6 to December 14, 2017 as trial Boeing 787-9 domestic flight runs for flight certification purposes, which allowed the maintenance crews, the flight crews, as well as the ground staff personnel time to get familiar with the aircraft per se before the actual international flight launch. The very first inaugural international revenue service flight for Qantas on their Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft officially took place on the very next day, which was December 15, 2017, and that's when Qantas officially began utilizing their Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft on their Melbourne to Los Angeles route, replacing the Boeing 747 that was previously utilized on this particular route, as Melbourne, Perth, Sydney, and Brisbane will become the international gateway bases for this aircraft type, as this aircraft is destined to become the airline's official flagship jetliner for the Sydney-based carrier, in which this aircraft has become the aircraft that has ultimately replaced their entire fleet of Boeing 747-400s, which was finally phased out on July 23, 2020, and the Boeing 767-300ERs that was phased out completely in 2014, as Qantas expects to utilize this aircraft on their ultra-long-haul routes from Australia to worldwide destinations on all 6 inhabited continents in the foreseeable future. Alright, then let's talk about the information about the special commemorative 100th anniversary livery scheme you see on this aircraft. Approximately 1 year before Qantas actually celebrated their centennial birthday, and prior to this aircraft being actually delivered and handed over to Qantas on November 7, 2019, Boeing collaborated with Qantas as the Sydney-based airline decided to unveil a special commemorative livery scheme on its 10th Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft, which bears the registration ship number Victor Hotel Zulu November Juliet, which happened to be this aircraft you're looking at here, shortly after the paint aircraft rolled out of the paint shop at Boeing's aircraft paint shop facility in Everett, Washington on October 15, 2019, as this specialized commemorative livery scheme is actually called the 100th anniversary livery scheme. This particular Qantas Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft was painted in this specialized commemorative livery scheme to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the national flag carrier airline of Australia, as Qantas has also been recognized as the true spirit of Australia ever since the airline was officially founded 100 plus years ago on November 16, 1920, as this commemorative livery scheme also displays the enlarged 100 number decal that also incorporates the airline's iconic flying kangaroo logo, which can both be visually seen on the front sides of the aircraft's fuselage. This specialized commemorative livery scheme also displays the different corporate logos that has represented the Australian-based airline for over the last 100 years, as Qantas became the third airline in aviation history to reach this significant milestone when it celebrated its 100th anniversary on November 16, 2020. Alright everyone, so with all this information out of the way about this aircraft, I know you've heard many times over, as well as the commemorative livery scheme you see on this aircraft, which I'm excited about showing you about. With no further ado everyone, let us get down to the nitty-gritty and allow me to show you all the details on this aircraft model. Shall we? Let's check it out. Alright, now you're looking at the front of the aircraft here on the port/left side, and we're going to start at the front of the aircraft where you see the actual nose gears right here, the nose gear struts, the nose gear door featuring the partial registration ship number on that nose gear door, November Juliet. See the pitot tubes in the static port, the radome nose cone, the windshield wipers, the cockpit windows. Please stay tuned, I'll give you a better visual view of those details later on in the model review. But the little logo that sits underneath the cockpit window, which is actually called the Qantas Vintage Kangaroo logo, which is this logo right here. And as part of its revised livery scheme makeover, Qantas also brought back and reintroduced the iconic wing kangaroo logo, which was the airline's third actual logo that was featured on the Qantas tails of their aircraft from 1968 to 1984, as this vintage logo continues to pay tribute by honoring the heritage of the carrier's rich history. And then underneath the Qantas Vintage Kangaroo logo is the actual name, Long Beach, right there. And this aircraft was given the name Longreach, in which Qantas decided to pay homage to this particular Queensland town that played a significant role that was integral to the national carrier's beginning, as well as its role in conquering the tyranny of distance, as well as the Longreach series of retiring the Boeing 747-400 jumbo jetliner aircraft, as Longreach is actually the city where Qantas officially commenced operations back in March 1921, as this Queensland town is located approximately 110 miles southeast of Winton, Queensland, Australia. where Qantas was actually founded on November 16, 1920, and approximately 1,084 miles northwest of Sydney, Australia. And then you're looking at the One World logo displayed by the L1 door as well as the L2 entrance door right here and right there. Qantas joined the One World Alliance along with American Airlines, British Airways, and Cathay Pacific as one of the 4 founding members on February 1st, 1999, which consists of 13 airline members from 6 inhabited continents. And then now you're looking at the 100 years decal, which is this nice looking decal right here with the kangaroo in there. This large number 100 decal is actually a commemoration of Qantas celebrating 100 years as one of the true pioneers in the world of aviation, which began on November 16, 1920, which is still flying under the airline's original name when it was first founded, as it became the 3rd airline in the world after KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, and Aviation respectively, to reach this historical milestone of still flying 100 years later on November 16, 2020. And then looking at the Qantas logo displayed inside the 100 years decal, as well as on the tail fin of the aircraft right there, as well as on the tail fin of the aircraft. I'll show you that now. There. This is the revised logo for Qantas, which resembles that of a kangaroo, which was introduced in 1944 and was remodified again sometime in 2016 as part of its revised livery scheme makeover, as this updated logo was conceived and recreated by industrial designer Mark Newsom in partnership with the Australian design agency, the Houston Group, whose global headquarters is located in the Surrey Hills section of Sydney, Australia. Alright, we're still at the front of the aircraft looking at the Qantas title font you see right here. And the Qantas title font was also handcrafted and streamlined as part of its revised livery scheme makeover to a thinner type font, as the colors was changed eventually from a dark black to a lighter charcoal tone. Okay? And then you see the nice looking red here, the red that goes all the way back to the aircraft. I'm going to let you see that right now. Go back to the tail fin of the aircraft, which I find impressive. Alright, we're at the center of the aircraft. We're going to start the lower part of the aircraft. And then behind these engines here are the outer bogie gears right here. There's the landing gear struts as well as the landing gear doors. And then you see the big match of engines here featuring the engine cones. And these engines are actually called the General Electric Gen X 1B turbofan type engines that are used on this particular Qantas commemorative Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft. And then you see the sawtooth pattern there on there. The sole purpose of this sawtooth pattern, it only improves fuel efficiency, it also helps noise reduction on this aircraft at the same time. Now I'm going to turn this aircraft model around, let you see the front of the engines, and we're going to find out if the turbofan blades actually spin. Let's check it out. Alright, now you're looking at the front of the engines here on the port side of the aircraft, featuring the end strike / air deflectors there. And then the turbofan blades in here, let's see if they spin. Yes, they do. And then you see the inboard landing light in there, in the triangle pattern, 3 little dots in there. It makes it more realistic and appealing. As well as the front visual view of the outer bogie gears on the side of the aircraft. It features the landing gear struts as well as the actual landing gear doors. Alright, now you're looking at the front of the engines here on the starboard side, featuring the engine strike / air deflectors right here. And let's see if the turbofan blades spin over here as well. Oh, perfect. Okay. A little challenge with this one, though. It's a little challenge with this one. Yeah, it spins, but it's a little challenge, but it's all good, though. You see the inboard landing light right there, as well as the front visual view of the outer bogie gears, including the landing gear struts, as well as the landing gear doors. Alright, now you're looking at the front of the aircraft, where you got a better visual view of the cockpit windows, the windshield wipers, the radar nose cone, the nose gear doors, the landing gear lights inside of the nose gear doors, the landing gear struts, as well as the front visual view of the landing nose gears. Okay. Alright, now you're looking at the top of the fuselage, goes from the front towards the back, in which lands the history and design elements of the Qantas logo. And these are the corporate logos that has actually been represented Qantas from the airline's inception in 1920 up until today. From left to right, the Qantas Limited logo, which is this logo here. That was from 1920 to 1930. The Qantas Limited logo, which is this logo right here, that was from 1930 to 1944. The original Qantas emblem logo, which is this logo right here, that was from 1944 to 1947. The wing Kangaroo logo, which is this logo right here, from 1947 to 1968. The redesigned wing Kangaroo logo was from 1968 to 1984, which is this one right here. The modified Qantas iconic tail logo, which is from 1984 to 2007, which is this one right here. And then there's the revised Qantas tail logo from 2007 to 2016, which is this one right here. And then there's the current flying Kangaroo logo from 2016 to the present, which is this right here. And then you see the Qantas time capsule towards 2021 slogan, which is this right here. And this is the slogan that Qantas actually used as the airline looks back at how the Australian carrier has actually evolved as one of the true pioneers of aviation over the past 100 plus years. While the times may have changed, the spirit of the airline, however, has remained the same as Qantas celebrates the next phase of their journey to fly further and dream bigger together for the next 100 more years. And then you see the website address, qantas.com/100 decal, and that's the airline's website address. I don't know if that website's still up. You can go find out. And then you see the Australian flag decal right there. This is the flag decal that represents the country where Qantas currently operates from as the national flag carrier airline for the country of Australia. All right, we're at the back of the aircraft here, and in this area, the red here, that is the AFT boat bin door. But then right above the AFT boat bin door is the actual registration ship number, Victor Hotel Zulu November Juliet. Registration ship number, Victor Hotel Zulu November Juliet. This aircraft is the 10th Qantas Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft that actually enters the Qantas fleet. And the first test flight on this aircraft took place on October 29, 2019 and was delivered to Qantas on November 7, 2019, as this aircraft was the only aircraft in the Qantas fleet that was actually painted in a specialized commemorative 100th anniversary livery scheme. All right, we're at the back of the aircraft. We're looking at the tail fin. The aircraft was the Qantas logo I mentioned earlier. The partial registration ship number on top of the tail fin of the aircraft, November Juliet. And then there's the strobe light right there. And then right here, what you're looking at is the APU, auxiliary power unit exhaust hole, and here is a hole there, see there, as well as the entire aircraft from the rear view angle. Let's check it out. There it is, everyone. The Qantas Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft and their specialized commemorative 100th anniversary livery scheme from the rear view angle. Alright, before I show you the aerial bird's eye view of this aircraft model as well as the undercarriage belly view of this aircraft model in full detail, allow me to let you check out one feature, which is the rolling gears. Let's check it out. Oh, it rolls pretty good. So far so good. It does tilt. And the nose gear swivels as well, as you can see there, but you got to be careful. These are very delicate and they can break very easily. So, with that said, allow me to show you the aerial bird's eye view of this aircraft model. Shall we? Let's check it out. Alright, now you're looking at this aircraft model from the aerial bird's eye view. We're going to start at the front here where you see the radome nose cone, the windshield wipers, the cockpit windows, the podscape hatch door. You see the 100 years decal right there with the logo on there on both sides, the Qantas titles, the anti-collision beacon light, a high frequency antenna. See the different various History of Qantas logos I mentioned earlier. That's the Wi-Fi box antenna in 3D. A couple high frequency antennas, and then there's the vertical stabilizer known as the tail fin, and there's the horizontal stabilizer with a little black dot, the same as over here as well. Those are called the illuminator lights, and the sole purpose of these illuminator lights is light up this tail here when it flies during nighttime. Now let's check out the wings and the engines. See the engines there, and then there's the wings above, the no-step information, as well as the flaps, slats, ailerons, spoilers, what have you. Let's see. Oh yeah, fuel dump valve, as well as the aerial bird's eye view of the curved wingtip. And then see over here the engines over here as well. And then there's the no-step warning information on the wings here. And then you got the flaps, slats, ailerons, spoilers, what have you. fuel dump valve, as well as the aerial bird's eye view of the curved wingtip on this side of the aircraft as well. Alright, now you're looking at the undercarriage belly view of this aircraft model. We're going to start at the front. The radome nose cone, the crew escape hatch door, the open nose gear door, as well as the nose gear. And then everything else is red from this point on. You slide up this way. See the clear anti-collision beacon light, the 100 year decal with the Kangaroo on there, which I find impressive. The hole with the stand on it, where the stand goes in at. The Gemini Jets logo. A high frequency antenna there. No APU housing door, that's okay there. And then there's the horizontal stabilizers underneath. And then we're gonna check out the engines right there, as well as the gears. Silt there. Okay, perfect. As well as the wings underneath. You got the flaps, slats, aileron spoilers, what have you. You got the registration ship number, fuel dump valve, as well as the undercarriage belly view of this curved wingtip device. And then you slide over here. Gears here, tilt there, okay, perfect. You see the engine there, as well as the wings underneath. You got the flaps, slats, aileron spoilers, what have you. Fuel dump valve right there, as well as the undercarriage view of this curved wingtip device over here as well. Alright, since I show you the aerial bird's eye view of this aircraft model, as well as the undercarriage belly view of this aircraft model in full detail, now I'm going to put it on this nice looking model stand that actually came with the model I showed you earlier in the packaging. And you see that black pattern there, folks? The sole purpose of that black pattern is not only protect your model, it's also prevent it from being damaged or scratched. So with no further ado, here is the model on the stand. Let's check it out. Alright, finally got this model on the stand. As you see it being displayed on the stand in the takeoff landing position, being viewed from the port side of the aircraft. Alright, now you're looking at this model on the stand being viewed in the takeoff landing position. It's being viewed from the front view angle. Now you're seeing this model being displayed on the stand, being viewed in the takeoff landing position. That's being viewed from the starboard side of the aircraft. And finally, you're seeing this model being displayed in a with the model on stand being viewed from the tail cam angle. Okay, before I take this model to stand, I got it in this position for a reason, and the reason is the magnetic gears that actually came with the model. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my model, let you see what I'm talking about. Let's start at the front nose gear. That's magnetic there. The outer bogey gear there, as well as the bogey gear there. Okay, since I took all the gears, I'm gonna let you see this model at a different angle with the model standing in flight mode / gears up position. Let's check it out. Alright, now you see this model being displayed in takeoff landing position and gear up in flight mode position. You got one or two options how you want to display your model like this. You can display like this in flight mode gears up position without the gears. If you want to do that, that's fine. You know, these gear replacement doors inside this plastic bag featuring the two little toothpicks. That's the sole purpose of these gear replacement doors, to substitute your model while you display it like this in flight mode position. Sorry about that. Or you can do like I do, just keep it in the gear down position. Gears up, gear down, your choice. I choose to leave mine on there because it adds more value to the model. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put these gears back on this model, take this model to stand, and go ahead and wrap up this model review. Alright, I forgot to show you the starboard side. We're going to start with the nose gears, the nose gear struts, the nose gear door with the partial registration ship number on there, the radome nose cone, the windshield wipers, the cockpit windows, the vintage Kangaroo logo, the name of the aircraft long reach. You see the 100 years decal with the Kangaroo logo on there, the front cargo containing loading door. You also see the Qantas title there as well. Now you're looking at the General Electric 1B turbofan type engines here, the engine cone, the sawtooth pattern on there, the landing bogey gears, landing gear struts, landing gear doors, and you see the various history of Qantas logos you see displayed there. You see the Qantas time capsule decal, the website address, the rear cargo container loading door, the Australian flag decal, and then there's the registration ship number. There's the rear cargo container loading door, as well as the airline's load displayed on this tail fin of the aircraft, featuring the partial registration ship number on that tail as well. Alright, let's talk about the seating configuration. The Qantas Boeing 787-9 stretch Dreamliner aircraft seats 236 passengers in a 3-class configured cabin layout. Here's the breakdown, everyone, from rows 1 to 12, which will be from here to about right here. You have 42 business class live flatbed seats, rows 20 to 23, which will be from here to about right here. You have 28 premium economy class seats in rows 40 to 59, which will be from here all the way back to the rear of the aircraft. You have an additional 166 economy class seats, which range a total of 236 seats. And finally, and in addition to Perth, Sydney, and Brisbane as the first validated test flight destination from Melbourne, Australia, as well as Los Angeles, California as the official inaugural international flight destination for this particular aircraft, as well as prior to this aircraft being grounded in the early part of 2020. Qantas previously utilized this aircraft, or was in the process of employing this aircraft, on routes from Melbourne to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Hong Kong, from Perth to London Heathrow, from Brisbane to Los Angeles, California, New York JFK via Los Angeles, Chicago O'Hare, from Sydney to Dallas Fort Worth, Hong Kong, Johannesburg, South Africa, London Heathrow via Perth, San Francisco, California, Santiago, Chile, Tokyo, Narita, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, as well as the rumored routes from Sydney, Australia to Chicago O'Hare, New York JFK, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Seattle, Washington, and from Perth to Paris Charles de Gaulle, Rome Fiumicino, Berlin Tegel, Frankfurt, Germany, and from Melbourne to Seattle, Washington, Dallas Fort Worth via Brisbane. Those are the routes, everyone. Well, this will conclude this model review. This is all I have right now. Please rate and subscribe. In the meantime, if you can get your hands on this model, please do so, because this model is pretty much almost impossible to find. Highly recommend it. In the meantime, take care. God bless. Stay tuned. There's more model content coming. Peace.